the makeup artist who created the look, the iconic look for Boris Karloff's Frankenstein monster, was unknown. His name was Jack Pierce. Very few people outside the industry would know who he was. He worked at Universal Studios. He designed the famous flat top head, the neck bolts, the scarred appearance, the definitive image. Well, that's what it became of Frankenstein's monster in the 1931 film Frankenstein. And of course, it had many sequels. This great makeup artist, Jack Pierce, was great because he made up a great actor in a great role. The greatest thing Mordecai Shmuel Bergman or Aaron Krillenbaum ever did was to translate the Hebrew Bible and the Greek New Testament into Yiddish. So we are like Jack Pierce, only adding makeup, you might say, quote unquote makeup. I mean the updated orthography, spelling, vocabulary. But we're doing it to great evangelical Yiddish masterpieces. Like Jack Pierce did his work with a great actor in a great role. Mordecai Shmuel Bergman translated Proverbs 11:30, Die Frucht von dem Tzadik, the fruit of the righteous, is a Baum von Leben, is a tree of life, unter was gewonnenen Nefoshes, and he who wins souls is a Chochem, is wise. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he who wins souls is wise. And of course, this is garbled by non-evangelical Yiddish versions that are out there that are the work of translators whose souls have not been won to the Messiah, neither do they understand the text, which is about evangelical soul winning. So what I'm saying is Mordecai Shmuel Bergman and Aaron Krillenbaum are great evangelical Yiddish masterpieces, or I should say they translated great evangelical Yiddish masterpieces. And that's what the software engineers and the linguistic consultants and myself and others are working on. Like Jack Pierce, early in the morning when Boris Karloff would sit in that makeup chair, he was working on a great actor in a great role. That's what we're doing. We're dealing with great masterpieces. Now, if you haven't been born again, if nobody has won your soul, then you really can't understand Proverbs chapter 11, verse 30. I had a mother, and she was an evangelist, and she had one person in the stadium, and that was me. And she worked relentlessly on me from childhood to early adulthood. She pursued me to the university where I was trying to be an atheist. She pursued me to Beverly Hills where I was trying to pursue an acting career. She did not give up. She kept dragging me to the house of God. And she finally won a soul. Now, all these people who are getting the gospel, all these people that are getting translation, Bibles and all kinds of books and everything else, you have to remember, you have to keep in mind, this is really my mother's work. She won one soul. And you talk about a tree of life. You talk about Etz Chaim. You talk about somebody being wise. This is a picture of someone like that, winning one soul. Now, Krillenbaum, his work is also a great evangelical masterpiece. Let me show you how. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a sentence in English. When did Mr. Ferrari get the Einfall, the bright idea, to build the first Ferrari sports car? Or when did Mr. Maserati get the Einfall, the bright idea, to build the first Maserati sports car? The word Einfall in Yiddish means bright idea. Now look at Aaron Krillenbaum's great evangelical rendering of Ephesians 2:8. For by grace are you saved through faith. It is a gift of God, not an Einfall, not a bright idea of yourselves, so that no one can boast. This is a great evangelical rendering. You wouldn't get this from many translators trying to render it in Yiddish. So these two Yiddish testaments, the Tanakh and the Brit Hadashah, are going to be all over the world, God willing, in thousands and thousands and thousands of downloads and app audio player audio files. And the word of God is going to be read and heard all over the world because partly you prayed, you sacrificed, you gave donations, you helped, and you say, well, now that's great. Yes, we did try to help, but look, there are so many other great Bible translations, and they're going all over the world. So what's the great thing we're missing in this whole thing that you're talking about, the great Yiddish? Well, let me tell you exactly what I'm getting at. Yiddish is the mama lotion, the mother tongue of the great final frontier of Jewish evangelism. That is the ultra-Orthodox Yiddish-speaking Jews. And the Bible gives you the secret, the fact that the gospel is to the Jew first, and in the end also to the Jew last. The, quote, 144,000, unquote, of the end times, first and last. So this is the great thing, that the entire Yiddish Bible, printed, digital, audio, triglot, is going to be everywhere, God willing. And God will bless it, and He will bless us, you, me, for blessing the Jewish people with their own great Bible in their own great language. There are things you can say in Yiddish you can't say in other languages. The precision and the glory of the Koine Greek, in a way, it's matched by the glory and precision of the Yiddish language. A word like Einfall, bright idea. This is a wonderful word. Salvation comes as a gift from God. It's not of ourselves. It's not an Einfall, a bright idea we came up with. And he who winneth souls is wise. My mother was very wise. We need to be wise. We need to be relentless. We need to be radical. We need to keep plugging away, not giving up. And sooner or later, the seed will fall on good ground. Sooner or later, someone will turn to the Lord. And what good is a Yiddish translation if it's not evangelical, if it muddles and garbles and misses the point of evangelical passages like Proverbs 11:30, the fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, he who wins souls is wise. If you miss that because you're not yourself an evangelical and you translate it into Yiddish and then the whole world says what a great translation it is, what good is that? And I want to thank the Lord for Mordecai Shmuel Bergman and Aaron Kronbaum. And I ask God to help us update the orthography, the spelling, the vocabulary of these great evangelical Yiddish masterpieces. And the Lord will open a great door for both of them, which is what he's already doing. The Bible Society in Israel, Faith Comes by Hearing, YouVersion, and many other platforms and apps are opening the door. Why? Because we have something very good. We have something great. We didn't create it. Somebody else did it, and God helped them. But their work went into kind of a sunset. But we are reviving it and brushing off the dust and putting it out there just at the point where the artificial intelligence and the technology can place these masterpieces in front of everybody, everywhere, all over the world. And that is God's doing. And we are very weak, but God is very strong to do this. He is helping us. And the language that was spoken in the death camps, behind the barbed wire, whispered at Dachau during the Holocaust, that language, the Mama Lotion, is the language that is carrying the glory of the gospel, the glory of the evangelical message, that he who wins souls is wise, that the messianic faith is about soul winning, that this is what Moshiach ben David said. Remember, he says that your fruit will remain. But then before that, he says, I want you to bear fruit. He says, you will bear fruit. That means you will win souls. That means there'll be a spiritual outcome. That means that there will be lasting spiritual results. That means that every Iva Goebel will go out and win the soul of a Phil Goebel and bear fruit, and that fruit will last, and that there will be a ongoing spiritual result. Now think of this. My mother died in 1983 when I was 40 years old. But think how much fruit her one soul that she won has generated. Go to afii.org/bio.html and look at all that has come down through the decades from winning one soul. And we know that we want to be wise. But becoming wise, it doesn't say he who gets a PhD is wise. I'm not speaking against education. It doesn't say he who does well on the SAT test is wise. I'm not speaking against tests or college admissions. It doesn't say he who gets straight A's is wise. It says he who wins souls is wise. We should not defer the business of soul winning. We should be like my mother was, radical and unrelenting. It didn't matter where I went, she would pursue me. It didn't matter how bad I got, she would keep preaching. It didn't matter how long it took, and in my case, it took 28 years. It didn't matter. She kept fighting for my soul. And from my 28th year until my 40th year, she saw a lot of revival and a lot of books and a lot of things come forth. A lot of people come to the Lord. She saw that before she left this world. But she didn't see all that would come later from 1983 to 2025. She didn't see that. And you may not see in this world during your lifetime all that will come from winning one soul. But God declares in Proverbs 11:30 and in John 15:16 that this is your job, that you shall bear fruit. That means soul winning, evangelical soul winning. The Bible is not just a literary creation. The Bible is a soul winning manual. Lord, I want to pray that someone will come to faith and that someone will keep preaching until someone else does come to faith. That there'll be an Iva Goebel who will be listening to this video or this podcast, and they will reach their Phil Goebel with the gospel. They will win that soul to the Lord. And oh God, we thank you for these two evangelicals, Mortimer Shmuel Bergman with his Tanakh, his evangelical Tanakh, and Aaron Krillenbaum with his evangelical Brit Hadashah. We thank you for these two men. And we ask you, Lord, to help us put these two works everywhere with the technology that is available today, which was not available in 1912 for Bergman or 1949 for Krillenbaum. And I want to pray, dear God, that there will be a great, wonderful thing that will come to pass, and that many souls will be won to the Lord. And that these very wise men who did their work so long ago will maybe see someday the fruit of their labors in heaven, as will my mother. And we'll give you all the praise. Moshiach ben David, come into my heart, forgive my sins, take control of my life, and I will serve you and follow you all the days of my life. And everybody said,